if that one is broken, it's an SUV. If it's not broken, it's a sedan.
I see.
That's how we measure the height of the car.
All right.
If the upper one is blocked,
it puts it where it needs
it'll
to.
tell you you're too tall. You can't park it.
Okay. So then how does it know you're out of the car?
Okay, so as you're parking in, we have another diagonal light barrier that goes from here to there. Once that's broken, and these four, these are laser scanners that make a box completely around the pallet. You know if you're coming.
But I mean, if there's movement inside the car, you can't tell.
We have four motion sensors in here. Through glass.
Pardon? Through glass.
Through glass.
It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. But if people want to,
Want to like
it's
scan
trespassing.
you or
It's
whatever.
trespassing. It's trespassing. So,
Uh-huh.
what happens is they'll get a stop sign. They'll come here. There'll be a picture of their car. Just back up a little bit. So that stop sign on that kiosk right now is a picture of you. And they're then asked four safety questions. Is everyone out of the car? Is your car locked? Close your mirrors, all that good stuff.
Okay.
The last question is it okay now for us to close the door and park your vehicle? So yes, this door closes, everything gets rescanned again, just to make sure there's no people in here. The car is still positioned in the right spot. And then the car
Goes in and moves over.
this door closes, this will open.
So
this whole floor actually
thing moves
shifts
over.
sideways.
But only inside does this move. This pallet is always with the car.
Correct.
And this stuff comes back.
This will actually roll sideways,
Okay.
and the pallets then move over to the compartment.
Okay.
We go to the back, and it doesn't matter which side. I'll show you. I'll move some cars around for you so you can
That's
see.
nice. That's good for me. I've done the studio before, and I'll do it again. Just lock it so it can go in.
Yep.
The stacker crane system.
Up and down. This is for you to look at, Billy. Does it always need? Can these things move around on one floor without actually having this volume in the middle? Or is the simplest thing to do?
We have multiple configurations. You can either have. You always need an
But
open
this seems
space.
like a waste of space, this
Thing in the middle. This big thing in the middle.
Yes and no. There's no other driving space required.
Yeah.
The cars are parked inches apart from each other.
Yeah. I guess up the length of one part of your building you need sort of this. There are other configurations, but they would operate sort of on a floor to floor.
Well, the way we operate pretty much is basically always with the trench laying down the middle. You can have a crane, instead of having it like this where it moves back and forth down the trench, you can have, it's more of a shuttle that's on each level. And then the entrance rooms, instead of coming to the middle, they will go to whichever floor the shuttle is.
So just the one on each floor, and
the entrance rooms here, instead of, The way they
Okay,
work now, they
yeah.
just come. They can actually be a lift and go down from level 1 to level 6,
Right.
and then the shuttle will be on each level moving cars.
Instead of this thing that goes up and down.
Right. The lift will go up and down.
But you
and then
still
the
need
shuttle-
that volume.
You still need the volume.
You
It's
still
the
need
same.
the volume. It's
You're
just
getting
not
the speed.
connected.
You're getting more speed out of that type of system.
Oh, really? Because each individual one has their
Each-
own little.
each
But it
level
costs
has
much
its own.
more money then,
Yes.
because each one has its own shuttle on each floor.
What costs money are the cranes. The steel is the price of steel. We will not build certain. We build to a certain throughput of speed. We won't put 3 and 4 cars deep because you'll never. That 4th car is going to take 10, 12 minutes. to
It's
get
only
out.
2 cars deep, usually off one trench.
Right.
And you have, how many cars in this facility?
Here we have 61 cars.
61 cars. What's the maximum time to get it to you?
The maximum time here?
Yeah.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. So the time you order your car to, like, it's the least desirable parked location,
Right.
or there's multiple cars ahead of you. You've never had anything more than 5.
Well, if you have a lot of people ahead of you, that's. Let's
I
say
know, but I'm
5
just saying.
per car.
Yeah. Are you just, did you put it on shuffle? Just now?
Yeah, it's made of spin cars.
Why would you have that program?
The way we have the program is because we want to get the cars in as fast as possible in the morning when there's a big rush. So, optimally, we want to spin the car as it comes in. However, if there's someone else waiting,
It spins after,
it will
on the way
not
back.
spin that car because it wants to. It adds about 30 to 40 seconds in this garage for a spin process. So we want to get those people in as fast as possible. It'll always spin before they leave, but then we have this program where I'll click a button.
So it's either spin before, if there's not a lot of, time, or
Right.
spin after. And you don't really have them without a spin. There can't be without a spin
We can have it with,
mechanism.
we can.
Then they would have to drive out this
If we
way.
had another exit on this side of the building.
And then you'd be losing spaces again on this side to dump them out here.
Right.
But the spin mechanism takes a lot of
But
space.
we would gain those spaces back there. And
Wait, which space is that car?
the space where we carved out where there's no spots because we have to spin in that area.
Yeah, but it would still be a garage entry.
No, wait, it's underneath. There's an
Oh,
area
the
in the
spin
front.
is underneath.
It's underneath. We need 20-foot
I see.
radius.
So you'd gain 2 more spaces, but you'd lose 2 spaces.
Probably gain more than 2 spaces because that spin area is almost 3 levels high. We
Can
have
we go
one
look
level.
at that? Can we get closer to it?
Yeah, I can show you.
Was there a diagram?
This is
Oh,
every
that's nice.
every level.
Uh-huh.
So you see on level 1 here, we have cars. On level 2, there's nothing here. Level 2, 3, and 4, all in that same area. There's no cars being parked in that area.
Because those are spin
Because
areas.
that needs to be spinning.
So you're losing 4 cars.
So you lose 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah.
Alright. So if you had it in and out, that would be great. That would be much better.
Yes. Our lot downtown.
How do you do that in a New York block? They're all like dead in the middle. There's no alley or anything.
Right, it's hard to do. Our site downtown, instead of having a 10-foot wide trench, we have a 20-foot wide trench because there's just the way the configuration of the site is, we had more room.
But then there's 2 mechanisms in the trench?
No, still, there's one. Except
So then you could rotate.
we rotate as we move.
Alright, so
Here, because it's,
then there's no, well, you could probably get another space on each side if you want. Then there'd be like 4
well,
spaces.
there it's
deep.
also, instead of parking horizontally, they're parked perpendicular.
I see. Okay.
And this right now is a park in for someone.
You're not doing that.
I'm not doing this.
So you're cheaper. What's your occupancy percentage, I guess, right now?
Right this second?
Well, not yeah. Okay, sure. But what's your
Right now I have 20 cars in here.
out of 60?
Out of 61.
Out of 60.
It's Sunday.
Yeah, we fill up pretty much.
You can eat pretty nice distances.
Yeah. Is this a SUV?
Yes. The only problem I could see, someone forgets to, well, no, when it's an automatic and they forget to put the parking brake on. Does it happen?
I've seen it once.
Because it reminds you, or
I reminded you asked all those questions, and you said yes. Here, it's not really an issue because you're gonna hit the column.
okay,
Right? It'll damage the car, probably damage the machine, but it will never fall. We've parked in this garage 29,645 cars in about less than 2 years. We've never damaged a car. Our other facility downtown is 115,000 cars parked.
115,000 in how many years?
That one opened in 2007.
It's like 20,000 cars a year, or about 25.
That's a 67 car garage. This is a 61 car.
Wow.
Well, we have, hypothetically, we have 300 cars, and ours is a kind of a prototype station for what we call green transport around the city. So there'd be one of these facilities at every kind of main entry point to the city. And it's probably unrealistic that even 300 cars, if we want to take all the cars off the roads. See, our idea is that in the future there's only, these kind of cars go only outside the city, and you only can have automated taxis and public transport inside the city. So you've got to get rid of your personally owned cars coming from Jersey or
If you take your public transportation system
in
then
the city.
it's almost like a zip car system, but
Yeah, and if it's all zip, these probably would be zip cars because you could rent them or own them. It doesn't matter. But these are on the ring of the city, and then once you're in there, you take automated taxis or public transport. And that's how we see Manhattan in 2100.
so we're actually working on to build a garage in downtown Brooklyn for the city of New York. About 600-700 cars on an acre lot, all underground with a green park.
For a commuter use, or
It's
where is it
it's a
located?
mix-
Like near a
it's-
train
it's not far from the Barclays Center, the new
park? What?
Barclays Center,
Barclays
the new
Center.
arena, tennis arena. They're building a lot down there, hotels, residential. I think it's over 1 million square foot of stuff that's being built, and we are building all the parking for that. And it's all going to be underground.
What do you do with 700? Like, okay, what's your ratio, do you think, for entry points?
There, I think we have about 12.
So it's, you have 71 here, it's like 2 entry points for 71, 35 cars per entry point.
The way we pretty much, the way this system, that's a different type of system, but the way most of our systems are, 2 entrance rooms, 1 SRU, which is the storage retrieval unit, can handle about 120 cars. That's its optimal throughput.
So we could, with our 300 cars, get away with 3 entry points. But it wouldn't be optimal. 4 or 5 would be better.
With probably 2 frames.
And why do you say it's a different system in Barclay? What's the difference?
Just different configuration than here.
It's not a center trends with 2
they're all-
on each and 2 on each?
No, it's, I forget exactly how it's going to be configured. But it's 4 separate systems, all working together. But from the consumer standpoint, they don't know, it's all.
No, they don't know. What they know is it takes longer, they get annoyed.
Right.
That's the only thing.
Right, so that's why we built it that way. There's 4 separate systems. Instead of filling the first one first, we fill them all evenly.
I see.
That way,
So that'll take it quicker back to get it back.
now we have someone retrieving that car.
I was in the Mancusi Library at the University of Chicago, and they have this kind of system for their archives. All their archives are pretty basic for, I think, 100,000 volumes are down there. Not organized like the Dewey Decimal System, well maybe, but they're organized, the books by size, basically. And we were down there, it's a 60-foot high room with 400,000 books in there, and the system is very much like this, that run down 5 or 6 pathways. And then books are retrieved and they come up in a little box. Maybe the box is divided, but it's like you have to pick through, you have to then pick through like 8, 10 books to get to the one you want.
Very efficient system, I just want to say.
I think, and there's no human error. I've read that they don't break down very often, correct or not?
Yes.
Because you don't have people messing around with it.
Right, we don't have, every pallet is the same size, the same dimensions. That's why we actually use the pallets. There are other.
What are the pallet sizes?
It's 17.1 by 6 something. When we go back to the front, I'll get the exact.
Okay. And you don't have to heat it or cool it, or do you?
No. We have sprinkling.
Why?
For cars.
Okay.
That's based on.
Because the car might blow up.
Correct.
Right.
But we have no. Here we have no ventilation. Okay. It's all natural ventilation every time the door opens. The car's never on.
Is it zoned or classified as mechanical space?
Mechanical.
Okay, so you have rules about lighting and ventilation just based on mechanical space. Okay. I saw the little turning of the floor rotating. If we could get away without having that, but you need space to open the doors. But maybe cars in the future, the doors will go like this. So
Well, the other thing is we have to be handicapped accessible.
no way.
Yeah. Okay. At least one. By having one of the entrance rooms handicapped accessible, it makes every parking spot in here handicapped accessible.
What do you mean every parking space handicap? It's pallets.
This is considered
a
61
pallet.
handicapped parking spaces, even though we only have one entrance room that is.
And there's no walkway to the parking spaces where you can't get to these parking spaces.
Correct.
Okay, that must be a new rule in the code book somewhere because it must freak the first person out. Right? Who had to review that at the permit office.
Right.
Okay. So how many do you think are in Manhattan? You have 3.
We have 2 in Manhattan, 1 in Brooklyn, right?
Where's this one in Hoboken? Who did that?
That's completely different.
Big company. They were the first though. I thought they were the first in the United States. This Hoboken.
No.
It was Washington D.C. And then you don't know, but you have 3, and there's other or
The
2.
Hoboken one I know about. Not a good system.
Well,
The drop cars.
the first are always the test
Right.
labs. All right. And you didn't even finish the drywall, or I don't know what that is. Precast concrete.
That's core board.
Okay, so it's fire safety because there's.
Because we're separating between 2 tax lots here.
All right. Okay, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.